Hey you guys, let's have a little bit of a lesson on MAs or EMAs, which you may hear as moving averages. You may hear as like a 9 EMA, 20 EMA, 50, 200, 100. I want to look at the main thing though, like especially for those of you who are swing traders or interested in long-term trades. We mostly look at something like our 50 and 200 EMA on higher time frames. But the main thing I want to talk about, simply because this was a conversation that came up between me and a student, was about the death cross and what that meant and how to act on it or trade on it or just what to expect. But there's not just a death cross. There is also what you will call a golden cross, which is just simply the opposite of what takes place when the death cross happens, okay? So I want to take you guys to everything you need to understand the stock market. If you have the book, you can find about EMAs on page 120, where I talk about moving averages, okay? Now, in there, I have a little moving average facts to know part in here. And it pretty much talks about just a simple mention of the golden cross and the death cross. This is when the 50 EMA crosses above the 200 EMA. It's called the golden cross, which is bullish. And when it crosses below, it is the death cross, which is bearish. Now, we're not just going to look at the book and going about our business. We're actually going to go to the charts and we are going to find some stocks and we are going to look at them and look at what took place when that 50 and that 200 EMAs crossed. And we're going to be on the daily time frame. Because I am primarily a swing trader, this is where I'm going to go in my best territory, all right, which is on the higher time frame, sometimes a daily, sometimes a 4 hour, and then of course a little bit higher when you are looking for a bigger picture. And that 50 and that 200 EMA gives us a bigger picture that we need to make some informed decisions on going about our swing trade. But before we just jump right into it, depending on the platform that you're using, you should be able to add, of course, your EMAs. You may see EMAs, SMAs, you may even see it just as MA. It simply depends on the platform you're using. But I am over here on TradingView. And so you can kind of see how I have everything already here. So the first thing, I'm going to take all of this stuff that's in on my charts off. And this is my RSI. I'm also going to take the RSI off. Okay. Now, the lines at the bottom, these are just volume bars, okay? These are my volume bars. And if you're using TradingView, you can literally change your charts to look how you want them to look, okay? You can make them look, your colors of your candles, everything. Your indicators can be whatever you want. But this isn't about TradingView customization, all right? Now, the first thing is we're going to go to indicators. Now, I already have the indicator added, but I am going to take them off that there so we can go back and re-add it. So the first thing you're going to do, of course, is go to indicators on your, at the top. I'm assuming everybody's trading view is kind of set up the same where everything is pretty much in the same place. So at there, we're going to go here and we're going to type in EMA and we are going to hit this moving average exponent, okay? Now, you'll see other things like moving average, ribbon, triple EMAs, double EMAs. It's just, additional things you can do. Now, I usually use triple and double when I was using my free TradingView, because if you're using TradingView, you can only add, I think, 2 or 3 indicators. So once you hit that, they say you got to upgrade. So if you're not looking to upgrade, then hey, use one of these and then go back in and you can add the same exact things that I'm going to show you guys, all right? Well, number wise, like 50, 200 out of that. Or if you're using something that's free and allows you to add as many indicators as you want, you can do that. But in this case, we're mainly focusing on 2 moving averages right now. So I'm going to hit this again so that it adds it twice. Okay. So hit X. I'm going to go over here to where it has, and you see currently they have it sitting at the 9 EMA right now. So we're going to go to our setting and I'm going to change this one to 50 here. Okay, and I'm going to change the color of that to, let's just say, I'm going to make it a different color from my candles. I'm probably going to do it yellow. And of course, you can change the thickness. You can change how it looks, whether it's like dots, dashes, however you want it to be. Okay, so I'm going to keep it there so I can keep it thick to where we can easily see it. All right, I'm going to hit X. Now I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to make this my 200 EMA. All right, and we're going to go here, change that color. I'm going to make it white. And here, and we're going to put the same thing so that we can be sure that it's seen. All right, And now we got it. We now have our 200 and we have our 50. So let me go back. I forgot to change the input. I'm going to do 200 here. And okay. And there we go. Now it's right. So now that we have these EMAs here, we have the 50 and we have the 200. The yellow one is our 50 and the white one is our 200. Now, what does it look like when we hear about the death cross or we hear about a golden cross? It is just simply these two moving averages crossing each other. And right now, I am on Archer's Aviation. I'm actually going to be talking about this later this week. But you may notice right up in here, you see that this thing is pinching together just about to a point where that 50 EMA is trying to cross down on that 200 EMA. In the event that it does, there's a high possibility that this thing could see more downside. Now, I'm on a daily time frame, so of course, it takes a little bit of time for all of this to really pan out simply because each candle took one full day to form. So, we already got some downside now. This thing was sitting up at, what is that, 1141. When this is like at the beginning of November, end of October, and this is currently where we are. But this is something that I took note of, that we probably could expect some more downside and a death cross to take place. Was this little thing here could potentially either wedge and we can get ourselves a bear pennant. We got this downside, might see some upside consolidation, those candles getting thinner, and then we get a downside move, or it could potentially create a bear flag here. And then we get a downside move, which would also play into this 50 and this 200 EMA crossing to the downside. And in the event that it does cross, we could potentially short this stock. We can get into puts and ride it down for a period of time simply by acting on this here. Now, we also use some other things. You may want to add some other indicators, maybe even looking at your RSI, but I don't want to cram all that in here because I want to mainly focus on the death cross and the golden cross and what it looks like when it happened. Okay, so certain things can give you indications that it's probably going to happen, or it can give you a little bit of confidence to act on this death cross depending on how other things pan out. And in this case, over the next couple of days, we can see what happens here on this daily. Gives us a bear flag, gives a bear pennant, and then boom, this thing begins to come down. That 50 crosses over, then we get to looking for lower levels as to where this stock could be coming, and we could possibly see this thing getting down to 550 and lower depending on how this plays out. I'll take you to where it actually has already happened, whether the death cross or a golden cross, so that you can see what it looks like and how that pretty much panned out. And that will be right here. Okay, so I'm going to get a box and we're going to put it here. You see this here? That 50 EMA crossed over this 200 and we got ourselves a golden cross. And with that, this thing crossed over here. This was around November 26th. You can kind of see where we got to pushing up, and this thing shot all the way up before it started really coming back down to approximately $12.45. This massive cross here happening gave us a really, really nice upside to act on. Now, sometimes these things can be short-lived. Sometimes it could go on for an extended period of time. And it's not some major event, but sometimes it is, especially when you're looking at companies or stocks that very rarely you see the 50 and the 200 cross, just on a day-to-day basis or a month-to-month basis. Very rarely that you will see some of them cross. And when you come across these kind of stocks, the 50 and that 200 crossing in either direction could bring significant results. All right. And you see here, we got another one. And this will be the death cross. And we went from approximately $5.08 to about this little downtrend here to about $3. So it's not a massive drop. Archer Aviation, isn't one stock that has extreme volatility. So you're not seeing major movement here. But if you were to get into a put, hold it long term. And I'm pretty sure it would be a low risk trade simply because it's a very cheap stock. At this time here, around this little $4 to this $3 range, extremely cheap. So getting into a put on this thing would have been low risk to do. Not much, you would really have to worry about, but just holding it could have been a decent play by simply acting on this cross here happening and this thing pouring down. And so it took, let's see, approximately March 2024, by the way. It did not recross again here until approximately November 2024. So it took a while to even get back up. Okay, so this right here just kind of shows you that when those crosses happen, that it could bring some pretty good results over time. Not saying it's going to go up forever the whole time, but it will definitely see a uptrend over time to where you can have a trade, whether if you're in a call or a put, and you can hold it to let it make its move and just see what happens, and of course make your exit when you're ready. That is just one of them. Like, you can go across the board and just look at what happens every single time you see these things take place. How do the stock react? How does the price react? How are the buyers and the sellers reacting when a particular cross may happen? This golden cross here on the S&P 500, by the way, was right up in here, was approximately around May 2025, and this thing has been on a up and up since. Okay, now we kind of did get back below that 50 and we kind of pushed back up, but hey, we've been in some weird times politically, so things have been crazy on the market. So this thing has really been moving. Okay, and so let's go down some more right up in here. Let's see, there we go, right over here. So this was around 2022 where we got this cross here to the downside, right up in this little area here. And we kind of went from approximately 438 and we pushed down to about 380. It pushed back up, and that 50 EMA kind of acted as a bit of resistance there, and pushed back down a little bit further to 362. We came back up, it pushed back up, but it doesn't always mean that we're going to see these things cross just because it flies up above, the other two. Well, both of them together, it don't always mean that it will cross. Remember, the moving average is just the average price that a stock has been over a certain period of time. And so in this case, we are on the daily time frame. So these EMAs act as daily EMAs, daily moving averages. What has been the average price of this stock over the last 50 days and the last 200 days? Okay, so it won't always cross, but when it does cross, we could potentially see a nice upside move. And as you can see, it came down, it pushed up, still no cross. Came back down, came back up above them both, still no cross. Came back down, happens again. And so we started to see this thing really start to pinch together around February 2023. It pinched, but it did not cross. And finally, it made its cross right up in this area, went from approximately 399, and this thing pushed all the way up to approximately 458. Okay, and so that right there, let's see what type of move. It'll kind of come right around this area to here. And let's see, that was approximately a $59 move that the S&P 500 made from that time period on up before it started to come back down. So this here is just to give you a general idea of how you can make a move when you see a death cross or when you see a golden cross happen across any stock. Now, of course, you need to look into the volume. Look into if the stock has any demand. Look into how it moves. What's its average range? How long does it usually stay above or below when the death cross or a golden cross takes place? Okay. Now, you can take this exact same concept and use the 9 and the 20 EMA if you are someone who is a day trader, to where if the 9 crosses above that 20 or the 20 crosses below the 9, this can give you entry and exit signals to kind of make a quick move. Now, how long will it stay crossed? We don't know. You just have to follow whatever levels that you have and whatever game plan that you have. And so that right there, this could be a trading strategy for you. It can be something that you say, okay, if I'm going to swing trade this, check this out. This 50 and 200 is about to cross upside or downside. I might can make a long-term move on this, but also make sure you're looking at other things that are on the chart that could be giving you any indication that it could be it could be short term, it could be short lived, or this may not be a great move. Okay, so any stock that you want to look at, you just look at them and just kind of give yourself an idea. Don't try to force it. Don't just go looking for this, but if you spot it, you may spot opportunity as well, okay? And this is with Palantir here. Palantir has been on a up and up. If you've been on this channel for a while now, you'll know that I have been talking about Palantir. I've been telling you guys to keep your eyes on it. This has been an amazing stock, and when I was first introduced to it, it was definitely an underdog, and this thing has made its way up, okay? Its golden cross took place right around here, around 2023. Now it's been, you know, up and down, but overall you see this nice little curve for this thing. It's pushing up, and it has been above its 50-day moving average for quite a while until it broke right up in here. Let's see, what is this here? Come on, bring that out some. And let's see, it broke back down approximately February 24th, 2025. It kind of came back, held up on that 200, and we begin to kind of see it push back up, and it's doing the exact same thing. This is another reason why I also will be talking about Palantir, because they came down, and I was looking for them to touch this 200 EMA and to push back up and to see where this thing goes. But as of now, that 50 has been above that 200 for a while. It's been holding strong on this. Even when we got some overkill, it's been holding pretty strong on that 50. And it's just really been doing its thing from when I was first introduced to it. So this has been an amazing trade and stock to that I've been holding. Okay. But that's just one way to see it. Now, if it gets to a point where this 50 begin to cross below this 200, there may be opportunity to ride this thing down some. We just have to wait for the proper signals and confirmation that this could be a long-term short to continue riding down. Okay, so take that. That will be your assignment, to take what I just showed you guys. Add the 50 and the 200 EMAs to your charts and go to the daily time frame, possibly even the 4-hour time frame, and look at them and look for crosses. And this could find, you could find some opportunity there to potentially short or get into a call. Now remember, you're on a higher time frame, so you're gonna need a little time on your side to make sure that this thing has time to play out. Take into consideration the time frames you're looking at, and just to potentially practice if you are paper trading, or if you are trading currently, if you find a good opportunity where you see these two EMAs crossing and you see some opportunity there to actually test it out, go for it, okay? But if you're new to it, try it on a paper trade and see how it works for you, all right? So that was today's lesson, was just to simply look at this golden cross and this death cross and just simply what they mean. And it's just simply those two EMAs crossing each other to the upside and to the downside, and finding a little bit of opportunity there to make a trade based on that simple little set of data. But don't forget to look for confirmation, pair it with whatever else that you're using, and of course sticking to whatever your game plan is, and just taking that into consideration before you make your move. So I hope this helped. I hope this something you can add to your arsenal. I hope this something you can add to your trading strategy, and something that you can use to help make your decisions. And with that, I will see you guys in the next